Hall of Famer Joe Montana is with us. He disappointed Cowboy fans on more than one occasion. Joe, first of all, you can't be a great quarterback and be a great cook too, can you? I mean, tell me about your.
No, I like the easy things, but the sad part is in my life, my life evolves around food. So, and I'm here this year. I teamed up with the Hass Avocado Board. And talking about the party side of the game, and you look at how many avocados, 80 million pounds of avocados will be consumed by the end of the day, and a lot of them will be at my house, but because we love our guacamole and you got to have chips and dip and things of that nature. So we have a recipe on there of mine, nacho guacamole, and on our website, excuse me, avocadocentral.com.
Right, okay.
We got a lot of recipes and tips with the use of avocados for good snacks during the game.
Cool. How has Super Bowl week changed since that very first one when you played the Bengals up in Detroit that time? Just the whole progression of just the craziness of the week. What do you remember?
Well, I think the craziness is somewhat similar. It's just gotten larger.
Yeah.
There's just a lot more media, a lot more coverage, and a lot more demand of the players' times.
Is the story about John Candy really true in the game, that second game of Cincinnati, that final drive? Did you really spot him over there?
Yeah, I actually wasn't pointing it out to the team, though. I was pointing him out to one of our tackles, Harris Barton, because he was always every night he'd go out to dinner and he'd come back and tell you who he saw at dinner, and I saw this person, I saw this guy, so I hadn't heard Candy's name, so I figured, well, shoot, we're just standing here not doing anything. We're at a TV timeout.
But it's only the Super Bowl and the final drive to win the game, though, Joe. Come on.
We've been standing out there for, 4 or 5 minutes already, and, they're forever. TV timeouts are forever in the Super Bowl, so I figured he would appreciate it. And he appreciates it now more than he did back then.
Manning and Breeze this week. What do you think about those two guys?
I think they're like almost polar opposites. You got one guy who kind of statuesque, kind of quiet, kind of marches down, kind of military-ish and controls his team, and where the other guy is that pumped up, loud, get your team going kind of guy, and during the game he plays the same way. He's going to take chances, and he's not going to. Don't expect him to stay in the pocket. He'll get out of there and he can hurt you on the run. Or Peyton's going to stay in the pocket. So I think they're pretty opposite when it comes to quarterback. One's 6'5" or 6,
right.
The other is 6 foot maybe.
Does Tony Romo remind you in any way of you with the way he moves around back there and what he does? Just talk about Tony if you would.
I don't know. I never try to compare people with other people, even with myself, but Tony does a lot of similar things. I think a quarterback has to know how, especially in this day and age where they're coming after the quarterback, you have to be able to move and get out of the pocket to be, to be successful. Then you sit there and you look at Brady and Peyton, and they don't do that at all. But I think if you're not the biggest guy, you got to be able to get outside and make plays, and I think Tony does that too.